pursuit of excellence on and off the field has led the Crusaders to conference, regional, sectional, and state championships. You can be part of an exceptional summer camp staff that exemplifies the charitable tradition of Brother Edmund Ignatius Rice. You can be part of an exceptional community of faith where young men are accepted, recognized, valued, and challenged to grow. You can graduate as one of the exceptional Brother Rice students who were accepted into the colleges of their choice, earning over $24 million of scholarship money. You can be part of an exceptional, close-knit brotherhood of young men, one whose friendships extend decades beyond graduation day. At Brother Rice High School, you can be whatever you want to be, but whatever you choose to be exceptional.
Welcome to Crusader Game Day, Crusader fans, and we are here to prep for tomorrow's semifinal action between the Warren Blue Devils and the Brother Rice Crusaders. Ryan, this is a huge week for the Crusaders, trying to go back to the state championship. Back-to-back years for the first time ever. This is the first time they're in the state semifinals. For back-to-back years for the first time ever. What are you expecting this week?
I'm definitely expecting a shootout. I think both of the offenses are going to be great, as well as the defenses. Last year, Brother Rice beat Warren 20-0 in the quarterfinals, so Warren's definitely going to come out looking for some revenge after last year's game. Definitely.
Coach McNulty, the head coach of the Blue Devils, has talked about it all week, how they still have a sour taste in their mouth. That was a quarterfinal game. I remember it was freezing last year. Just a big win for the Crusaders against a good Warren defense, and that defense has even gotten better this year. Let's move in to our number 4 opponents, the Warren Blue Devils, 12-0. Huge win last week against Bolingbrook, 18-6. They really shut down the Bolingbrook offensively.
Yeah, they've only given up about 40 points all year. They've had 5 shutouts, and they're only giving up about 3 points per game, so they're definitely coming out strong. Their defense is going to be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, 3 points per game. You never see that anymore. I mean, that's insane. 40 points all year. They've played 12 games. Absolutely crazy in a day where a lot of points are scored. And they're going to have to face a very tough Crusader offense this week. They are anchored down by their big Iowa State commit D lineman, Malachi McNeil, who is just he had 2.5 sacks last week. Big week for them.
Yeah, I mean, Warren's having a huge game defensively. I mean, their line had 7 sacks last week, Connor. So this Brother Rice offensive line is definitely going to have to do a good job of stepping up and making sure Lausch has a lot of time to get the ball out, or have guys like Willie Shaw and Josh Bell get those holes to run through.
Another big thing, Willis Singleton, 6'1", 300 pounds, another Division I commit. He had 2 sacks last week. Just Warren, very, very good up front.
Yeah, definitely. They're big, they're strong, so Brother Rice will definitely they'll have to play as physical as possible, and if they do that, they'll be able to keep themselves in it and keep Lausch back there clean from the ground.
Yeah, and another thing that this defense does well is they force turnovers. 2 fumble recoveries last week in crucial situations where Bolingbrook was driving. They held Bolingbrook to under 100 yards, but when Bolingbrook was trying to get something going, Warren came up with a huge stop. Crusaders have to limit that tomorrow night.
Yeah, definitely. That's huge. Bolingbrook was a pretty good team this year, so when they're able to force turnovers like that, especially in a big situation, that's definitely going to boost your morale. Obviously, they got the win, and they're going to come into this game against Brother Rice feeling pretty good about their chances. I mean, like you said, undefeated, so they definitely got something to prove this year.
The offense has struggled at times for Warren this year. They are led by their running back, Derek McLaughlin. He rushed for 100 yards last week and a touchdown. He was really the only offense that they had.
Yeah, their passing game isn't the best, but I mean, when they got to pass, they're going to have to pass. So this Brother Rice defensive back unit and their linebackers are definitely going to have to keep on their toes. But yeah, I mean, if the D-line for Brother Rice gets in there and stops the running game, forcing a weaker pass offense to have to pass, this could go pretty well for the Crusaders this week.
Yeah, and exceptional running backs are nothing new to the Crusaders. They have faced all-area Player of the Year Marquise Irving, Vaughn Pemberton from Loyola, Nate Thomas, St. Rita. The list just goes on, and McLaughlin is just another tough challenge for the Crusaders. He's had as many as 260 yards this year. Coach McNulty has described him as one of the most electrifying players he's ever coached.
Yeah, Connor, but I think, like you said, having experience with such great running backs, that's definitely going to help them this week. Their defensive line is going to have to step up huge, and now that they've had experience, that could help them in the long run of this game.
And that O-line has been pretty solid for Warren. There haven't been a lot of sacks. There was some pressure last week, but they kept their quarterback clean, and they allowed McLaughlin to get free. That's definitely going to play a factor for the Crusaders tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. But, guys like Ryan Whalen, Denver Warren, then the linebackers, Miles Jones, Justin Jefferson, Austin Beal, they definitely apply a lot of pressure. So if they can get in there fast, this O-line is definitely going to get tired down by the strength Brother Rice has.
Yeah. Personally, I think this is going to be the Crusaders' toughest test all year. And they've played some great teams, knocking off the 1-seed Minooka last week. But Warren is no pushover. They are, in my opinion, they should have been the 1-seed. They're just a great team, great defense, an offense that gets it done. And, you can't get anything on them.
Oh, I definitely agree. We've played Loyola, Marist, Mount Carmel. But I agree. Warren's definitely probably going to be the hardest game we've played all year. And, what a better time to do it, a semifinals game.
Yeah, especially with Singleton and McNeil up there. Let's talk about Warren's D-line real quick. We talked about their 7 sacks last week and limiting Bolingbrook to only 13 yards rushing. What are they going to do to have to stop Willie Shaw this week?
They're just going to have to get in there fast. This Brother Rice offensive line is very strong. We saw that throughout the whole playoff run in the regular season. So they're definitely going to have to apply pressure, get in there fast. Just find the weak spots that Brother Rice has on the offensive line. And so if they can do that, I definitely think they'll be able to apply the pressure and get into the backfield fast.
Yeah, and with a dual-threat quarterback in Lausch, he's not afraid to take off. He ran for over 100 yards last week. They're going to have to really contain him, too.
Yeah, definitely. Lausch is really one of the all-stars on Brother Rice. So if they can stop him running and force him to throw, and then if they can create turnovers with passing, it'll definitely play a huge contributor. And Brother Rice will just have to figure out a way to get the game going.
Yeah, so that D-line, something definitely to watch out for. And pressure-wise, they use the bull rush technique a lot, which Liam McElligot's probably have to guard that on Singleton. How are the Crusaders going to defend the bull rush?
They're just going to have to go. Everybody on the line, the tight ends, everybody's got to be strong and ready to go. They can't get too tired out too fast. And coaching-wise, you're not going to be able to go hurry up too much, or else everybody's going to be tired out. And like you said, Liam, I have faith in him. He's a pretty strong kid, so definitely if he can get in there, just block as hard as he can, the bull rush should be able to get stopped for Brother Rice.
All right, now let's move on to the number 24 seed, the Brother Rice Crusaders, 8-4, coming off of a huge win, 38-21 against the 1-seed Minooka, the upset in Illinois. Ryan, you manage this team. You've been around them all week. What has the morale been like?
Oh, everybody's excited, Connor. Everybody has been excited to just hit the field this week. They know that this is the biggest game they've got all year until next week. So they are definitely ready. They're going to hit as hard as they can, run as fast as they can. It's been very competitive at practice this week. Nobody wants to lose when they're going up against each other, especially. That's going to lead into the Warren game. Nobody wants to lose against another team. So they definitely have the morale going so far.
Yeah, it's great. And we'll stay on the defensive side of the ball. The Crusaders' defense was also phenomenal last week. 4 turnovers, Denver Warren 2 fumble recoveries, Mario Brown interception, KJ Love an interception. Minooka couldn't get anything going.
Yeah, definitely. The defensive secondary for Brother Rice has been strong all year. Like you said, KJ Love, Mario Brown, guys like Giacomo Arachi. Everybody's been strong. And then the linebackers, the defensive line. Ryan Whalen back for the Crusaders this week, which is huge on that defensive line to get that pressure. So I think they're going to be able to keep the intensity up high, but they're gonna have to find a way to get off the field fast and really conserve their energy, or else it could be a long game for the defense.
Yeah, you talk about Ryan Whalen being back. I'd like to give some major props to Sean Mahanes and Tommy Gorman last week. Stepped up huge in replacement for Whalen, who's been one of their most consistent D linemen all year. Mahanes even had half a sack. Played great last week, and I wouldn't be surprised if he still got some playing time. Whalen's still banged up a little bit.
Oh yeah, Mahanes and Gorman, they're definitely stepped up in the clutch when they had to. It's not always the easiest to come off the bench, especially in a playoff quarterfinal game. But they did just that, and when they did, they made it count. I mean, like you said, Mahanes had half a sack, so I would agree with you that they both should probably get a little bit of time in the game because, like you said, Wayland's really not 100% recovered. So don't be shocked if you see them on the field tomorrow.
Okay, let's talk about the Crusader D-line. We talked about Warren so much. The D-line for the Crusaders has also been phenomenal. Denver Warren, of course, had the 2 fumble recoveries last week. Alex Roach with the sack. Austin Veal with the sack. Forced fumble. The Crusaders D-line up front, the big guys have been looking good in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. I think the defensive line for these Crusaders has been one of their strongest points all year. The pressure has been applied in every game so far to the quarterbacks, running backs, and they definitely know how to tire out the offensive line for the other teams. So I'm kind of excited to see how Warren responds to that. But like you said, Roach getting in there fast, Veal, Warren, everybody's just, and they all hit hard, Connor, let me tell you. They hit hard, and they just don't quit. So definitely this defensive line will have to anchor the defense, and I think they're capable of doing just that.
Yeah, and definitely. And then let's talk about a guy who has just been so great in his return, Miles Jones. He was facing 2 high-powered offenses in South Elgin and Manuka. I'm not going to say it's an all one-man team, but him and Justin Jefferson at the linebacker combo is it's been fun to watch. South Elgin was averaging about 49.7 points per game. They score 7 on the Crusaders, and a lot of that has to do with the linebacking core. Manuka, over 30 points. They scored 21, but it was really 14 because they had a 7 scored in garbage time. I mean, just Miles Jones being back, it really helps.
Well, Miles is just, he's a captain, so he definitely steps up. He takes the big-time role when he has to. And I don't know about you, Connor, but if I was a quarterback or a running back, I got past that defensive line, and I saw those 2 running at me, I would be scared and I would get down to the turf as hard as I could because I don't want one of those 2 hitting me because they both they'll come out at you with full force, and Miles Jones has been playing a huge role in his return.
Yeah, not only those 2, the third linebacker, which rotates, they got a little bit of a 4-man rotation between McBadkey, Arrington Lyons, Brendan Ryan, and Ronan Dolan, and all 4 of those guys can really lay the wood. Some underdogs. Arrington had a big game last week. Mick played pretty good. Brendan Ryan and Ronan Dolan, they seized their opportunities. They played well. Ronan Dolan with an onside kick recovery. Just big day for Crusader linebacking core.
Yeah, I don't think any of the linebackers on Brother Ice has a weak spot. They're all fast, strong, and capable of making the big play. And like you said, they can all lay the wood quite hard. So the Brother Ice linebackers are definitely one of the strongest points. And really, I think the defense is just the strongest point in general for Brother Ice.
Yeah, and you talked about the secondary a little bit earlier. I think that's the hardest we've seen Giacomo Arashi hit all year. I mean, he was just ready to go. Made some great plays, some great tackles. He flew upfield, which you saw a lot last year. We hadn't seen it all the time this year, but he's been playing great as of late. His 2 best games have been in the last 2 games, which as a Crusader fan, you've got to be happy about.
Well, definitely, and he's a senior, so this is his last season to play at Brother Ice, and he doesn't want to have that end short. He wants to come up with that big-time goal just like last year when he was a junior, so he's going to hit as hard as he can, as well as Jacob Sullivan, all these seniors. And the juniors on the defensive back unit, they're going to have their senior brothers' backs. They don't want anybody to end early. So, yeah, and like you said, Giacomo Arashi hitting as hard as he could. Actually, he had a hit last weekend. A part of the Manuka player's helmet actually kind of broke off. So, that really shows how hard they're going to be hitting.
Yeah. Let's go the offensive side of the ball. Last week was definitely the best game offensively for the Crusaders all year long. 352 yards of total offense. Jack Lausch, 117 rushing yards and a touchdown. He also threw a touchdown. I mean, the sophomore quarterback, he's playing like he's a senior in college.
I mean, what can't Lausch do? Like you said, he can run all over the field. He can pass. Kind of reminds me of Lamar Jackson almost. He can use his wheels and he can throw the ball as far as he can down the field. So I definitely think he's going to play a big role in the game this week. And these next 2 years as well, he's just going to be really the key point and a captain for Brother Ice.
And let's go to that deadly running back tandem for the Crusaders, Josh Bell, Willie Shaw. Josh Bell, 97 yards and a touchdown. The joke is over that Josh can't get in the end zone. Everyone was messing with him because he'd get to like the 4, and then he couldn't get it. They'd give it to the other backs. Then Willie Shaw, 134 yards rushing, 13 yards per carry, and a touchdown. I mean, those are just two exceptional numbers from the Crusaders.
You know, we've seen it all 3 years out of Willie Shaw. But I've got to say, Josh Bell, I think this is the best football I've seen him play in all 3 years at Brother Rice. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the playoffs, but he's definitely turned on his secondary jets, and it's shown all of the past 3 weeks. So, yeah, this running back core for Brother Rice is just strong. And if they get into the open field, you might as well kiss them goodbye because nobody's going to be able to catch up to those two.
Definitely, and the speed from both of them. Everyone knows Willie Shaw's speed, but I know a lot of fans were actually surprised by Josh Bell's speed because he's just very fast. He's such an unsung, he's not talked about a lot. He's more of your power back, if you will, and he's just doing a great job there for the Crusaders.
Yeah, I agree. Josh is really one of those stick the shoulder into a guy, knock him down, maybe do a little juke, pick up those modest gains that Brother Rice always likes to have, but when he has to, he'll turn on the jets, and if he gets into the open field, I mean, his speed is definitely underrated.
So we talked about one sophomore, Jack Lausch, already. How about the other guy, Brandon Rogers, kind of the welcome to varsity last week. 2 touchdowns as a sophomore. The one play was a little bit lucky. He fumbled, picked it up, ran in there. But his athletic ability really allowed him to do that. And then a great catch in the end zone for a touchdown. I mean, he looked very good last week.
Yeah, like you said, welcome to the varsity for Brandon Rogers. He's been all over the place offensively at practice, and like you said, that one play that's been a little lucky when he fumbled the ball and recovered it, but you know, when I was on the sideline, I saw him go in, I said to myself, holy cow, you know, that's true talent to be able to recover your own fumble. Actually, he went back probably like 3 yards, and then he got into the end zone, and I just thought to myself, wow, and I heard a lot of the players on the sideline saying wow as well, just because everybody knew, like, he's got that special talent.
Let's talk about the O-line. They were great last week against a huge Manuka defensive line. Jack O'Leary played great standing in for Luke Murphy, who's still out with his hip. He's going forward. He's going to play tonight. He's probably going to have to guard Singleton and McNeil. I'm really impressed with the way he's played, and especially in such like a short, like a notice role, stepping in for Murphy.
Yeah, definitely. That Brother Rice offensive line last week, it's probably the strongest I've seen them all year. You know, a lot of people thought that was one of the weaker points, but they definitely showed that they have the strength and the power to push everybody back on the defense last week. You know, another guy I would like to point out is Carter McLilley.
Yeah.
That he's also a sophomore, and you know he's been starting all year, so he definitely has that power. And he's actually kind of shockingly fast if he has to get downfield and block. I saw that last year in actually the rugby season. So, yeah, I mean this whole offensive line, it's just the strength, the power, the just really the athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, the funniest thing for me last week was Jack Lausch's rushing touchdown, where he was stopped at like the 2, and then Liam McGilligan ripped him away from his defender and threw him in the end zone. I don't know why. If you have a chance, go check that highlight out. I mean, but he stepped up all year. He's battled through injury, and he's just played great. The whole O-line has just looked great throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you love to see it, you know. That offensive line almost thinks about the quarterback back there as almost a little brother. I've heard the quarterback been called. So, you know, you never want to let your little brother, per se, get buried into the ground. And like you said, the offensive line has stepped up throughout the whole playoff run.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a couple minutes with high school football expert Jack D'Amadio. He's going to give us his picks to click for the week. Stay tuned.
The beginning of high school is one of the most exciting times in your life. Why? Because in high school, you can do so many things. And at Brother Rice, you can be so many things. Exceptional things. You can be part of an exceptional academic environment, one in which passionate teachers and customized curricula prepare students for a post-secondary education and beyond. You can be part of an exceptional athletic program whose pursuit of excellence on and off the field has led the Crusaders to conference, regional, sectional, and state championships. You can be part of an exceptional summer camp staff that exemplifies the charitable tradition of Brother Edmund Ignatius Rice. You can be part of an exceptional community of faith where young men are accepted, recognized, valued, and challenged to grow. You can graduate as one of the exceptional Brother Rice students who were accepted into the colleges of their choice, earning over $24 million of scholarship money. You can be part of an exceptional, close-knit brotherhood of young men one whose friendships extend decades beyond graduation day. At Brother Rice High School, you can be whatever you want to be. But whatever you choose to be exceptional.
Last time, we talked about the perks of being a part of Brother Rice TV, but it's not all perks.
Yeah, it's hard work. Sometimes we have to come in nights like tonight, the night before Thanksgiving, and do some extra work. Yeah, that looks good.
It's a basketball team, big win today. College put up 32.
He's a beast. He's got like a solid career this year.
You hear that?
What was it?
Whatever. It's good to see you guys, but close the yearbook.
Have you guys seen Eddie?
Welcome back, Crusader fans. Joined here by high school football expert Jack DiMatteo. Jack, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Yep.
So let's get into a couple of games here this week. Let's start with our neighbors down the street, the number 23 Marist Redhawks against the number 2 Lincoln Way East Griffins. The Max Preps National Game of the Week. Marist looking great as of late, coming off of a huge win at Loyola, 41-27. They scored late. Loyola went for the win actually with two minutes left. Didn't get it. Marist came down, scored right away, and then Loyola threw a pick 6. Hayden Mikesell and AJ Marquette, 2 touchdowns in the combo, the wide receiver combo last week. They're looking very good right now. And then Lincoln Way East, as always, AJ Henning. We've talked about him all year. One of the best players in the state of Illinois, if not the best. Leading that offense to another big win against conference rival Homewood Flossmoor last week, 26-7 the final score. They just dominated all aspects of the game. Jack, what's your pick?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Lincoln Way East. Their offense, just very dominant. Marist's offense does look very good, but their defense, I don't think they'll be able to stop Lincoln Way East and A.J. Henning at all game. So I'm expecting a shootout, high 40s, I think, for both teams, but I'm going to say 49-42 Lincoln Way.
Jack, I'm actually going to go with Marist on this one. I just think Marist being at home, they've been playing hot, They played Mount Carmel, conference rival, at homecoming, and they actually stuck in there pretty well with them. They've been playing great the whole playoffs. They actually beat Loyola twice, both at Loyola this year. So those are all huge wins for them. And so I think Marist being at home, a big game, I definitely think they're going to come out with the win, but like you said, a shootout.
Yeah, and both of those games that Marist had against Loyola, if they lost, their season was over both times, and they were able to manage and come back and win those games with their back against the wall. But I'm just got to go with Lincoln Way East. Their offense has just been dominant for years. And Marist's offense, I think Mikesell had 4 total touchdowns, 3 passing, a rushing. Marquette with 2 touchdowns. Their playmakers really been playing well, but I still got to go with Lincoln Way.
Yeah, this is a tough call for me, honestly, and something I should have mentioned. Lincoln Way East, undefeated season on the line. They're being called the team of destiny. They've been coming off that upset last year against Loyola. That sent Loyola to the state championship. Sour taste in the mouth. It's definitely a tough call. You talk about it. Mikesell, 4 touchdowns last week, but he still looked a little shaky on the slant routes. And Lincoln Way East has some great DBs. You're right. It's going to be a shootout. And if Marist is going to win, it has to be a shootout, in my opinion. But you're right. I think the offensive power of Lincoln Way East is just going to be too much in the end. I think Lincoln Way East in a high-scoring game in the 40s, like you said. I'm going to take Lincoln Way East. Let's move down to 7A real quick because there's only 4 teams left in the IHSA 8A playoffs. We'll move down to 7A to our other conference rival, Mount Carmel. And something I want to point out before we get into the breakdown of this game, 3 of the 4 Catholic League Blue teams are in the state semifinals: Brother Rice, Marist, Mount Carmel. And the fourth was knocked out by another Catholic League team, Loyola losing to Marist. They've just been dominant in the playoffs so far. Mount Carmel coming off a big win against Phillips. Phillips was probably their toughest competition of the playoffs so far. Justin Lynch just looked absolutely outstanding last week, along with Kenana Odaluga. He's looked great all year. Another great running back the Crusaders have faced. Willowbrook beat Lake Zurich 28-10. Marist defeated Lake Zurich earlier in the year, but Willowbrook 11-1. They've looked good as of late. Jack, what's your pick?
Yeah, this time I'm going with the Catholic League team. I'm going with Carmel. We know how great their offense is, but their defense played great too. They only gave up 7 points against Phillips, and yeah, Jordan Lynch he's really pushing. He was pushing people over. There was a play on the sideline. He had the angle to get to the end zone. Just pushes some kid, chucks him right over, gets into the end zone, and the running game is outstanding too. So yeah, I got to go with Mount Carmel.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I'm taking Mount Carmel on this one. They got their undefeated season on the line, and their offensive and defensive power just has been huge. Justin Lynch, like you said, had a huge game last week. I expect him to have another one against the number 5 seed.
Yeah, I've got Carmel to blow out. I don't think it will ever be close. I think that the offensive power and the defensive strength for Mount Carmel will just be too much. Willowbrook, no common opponents between Mount Carmel and Willowbrook. I think Mount Carmel's going to take it to them. Let's drop down to 5A real quick. Another Catholic League team, not in Catholic League Blue anymore. St. Rita, having a great playoff run right now. They're 5A. They play Boylan Catholic, who is undefeated this weekend. That's at St. Rita, the 8 seed against the 2 seed. St. Rita coming off a big win against Hillcrest last week. Jack?
Yeah, I'm going with St. Rita. Who's going to guard Caleb Brown? The answer in most games is no one. So with that type of running back, offers from Notre Dame, Michigan, you got to go with him. You got to go with Rita.
Yeah, I'm taking Rita as well, Jack. You've really covered everything I was going to say about that team and a whole. Their offensive power has been pretty good all year. Defensively, I think they're going to be pretty good. I don't expect a blowout, but I don't expect a shootout either. I expect a pretty good, modest win for the Mustangs.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, everything points to a St. Rita victory, but I just have this feeling that Boylan's got something like an edge here. Anytime a 2 seed is the underdog against an 8 seed, I think that fires you up. So I'm going to take Boylan. I think Boylan's going to be they're ready to go. I think Rita's definitely ready to go, but I think that Boylan is definitely more intense, more hyped up. I think they're going to get off the bus. They're going to be ready. They have a solid run game. I think that it's going to be a low-scoring game, 14-13 maybe. Missed extra point, go for 2, you never know.
Yeah, and Connor, that Rita team, I mean, they know Caleb Brown, best player on the team. Their pass game has been shaky this year, and I'm sure they've been game planning all week to stop Caleb Brown. So,
yeah. Now let's go into the main event. Rematch of the 2018 8A quarterfinals, where the Crusaders took it home 20-0. It is the Brother Rice Crusaders at the Warren Blue Devils. Big win here. Jack, I mean, we've broke it down already. It's a big win for either one of those teams. In my opinion, I think who wins this game is going to win the state championship. Jack, what do we got?
yeah, I got Rice, and I think we know how great Warren's D-line is, and Laos just got to pass more. I know his running game has been great, but he only had 71 passing yards, and they got to pass a little more. They know the running back game, Josh Bell, Willie Shaw, and those runs up the middle, I don't know, the QB draws might not work as well. So put Willie at receiver and go jet sweep as they did against Carmel, which worked a lot in the second half, and more play actions. Laos just got to pass more.
I'm going to take Brother Rice. I do agree that whoever wins this game, I can see going on to win the state championship. I think both of the offenses are going to have to come out firing. Like you said, Jack, Lausch is definitely going to have to pass more. We got those big targets like Kevin Phelan, Dwayne Moorhead. So I think if he can look downfield, see some open receivers, Brother Rice will be able to win this game. And I think the defenses for both teams are going to step up. But I'm going to take Brother Rice like 28-24, I'm going to say.
Okay, all right. That's a good prediction, I think. You got a comment, or?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, we know Jack Laos can pass. He's obviously more than capable. He's playing quarterback for a reason, and, yeah, got to get it to Dwayne Moorhead. I don't know if those short little dump-off passes will work very well. So I'd say got to go verticals more with Dwayne. Give it to Brandon Rogers, who's been very well in the intermediate passing game. So, yep, I'd say don't run the ball up the middle and limit the short passes. A lot of streak passes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that's a different call. I have a different take on than what you're going to say. I do like the way Jack Lausch didn't throw a lot last week because he didn't have to, but we definitely saw some maturity. He was making throws that he had to make. I didn't see a dumb pass by him. There was not even a ball that could have remotely been picked. I really like the way that he's growing, especially in this 4-week period. Chase Hall's back in the slot position. He's, a speed threat. I like what you say about the streaks, but Warren has a safety unlike any other. He's just an absolute ball hawk. I like the dump down passes in this game. I like to wear that defense out. They've got a lot of big guys up front. Big guys tend to tire earlier. I like the dump down, and then right when they expect a dump down, you go deep. Or right when they're expecting to go deep, you give it to Willie Shaw, and he breaks off a run like we know he's capable. I've got the Crusaders in a 20-13 game.
And another thing, Loush can run the ball, but up the middle, I don't know if it's going to work as well. I don't know if it's in their playbook, but a read option, try to throw the defense off guard. You don't know if you're going to give it to Shaw or Loush. They are both equally great runners.
Yeah, and Connor, like you said, Chase Hall back this week. I think that's going to be a huge contributor for Brother S's offense and the slot.
Well, Jack, it's always a pleasure. Have a great time with you on here. I want to thank you so much for coming in. We'll be right back to close everything up in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned.
People see the orange blazers and they think we're just guys sitting in front of the camera talking about sports. I mean, but we do a lot more than just talk about sports. We're athletes in our own right.
9-7.
Take Joe.
Last time, we talked about the perks of being a part of Brother STV, but it's not all perks.
Yeah, it's hard work. Sometimes we have to come in nights like tonight, the night before Thanksgiving, to do some extra work. Yeah, that looks good.
It's a basketball team, big win today. College put up 32.
He's a beast. He's got like a solid career this year.
You hear that?
What was it?
Whatever. It's good to see you guys, but close the yearbook. Have you guys seen Eddie?
The beginning of high school is one of the most exciting times in your life. Why? Because in high school, you can do so many things. And at Brother Rice, you can be so many things. Exceptional things. You can be part of an exceptional academic environment, one in which passionate teachers and customized curricula prepare students for a post-secondary education and beyond. You can be part of an exceptional athletic program whose pursuit of excellence on and off the field has led the Crusaders to conference, regional, sectional, and state championships. You can be part of an exceptional summer camp staff that exemplifies the charitable tradition of Brother Edmund Ignatius Rice. You can be part of an exceptional community of faith where young men are accepted, recognized, valued, and challenged to grow. You can graduate as one of the exceptional Brother Rice students who were accepted into the colleges of their choice, earning over $24 million of scholarship money. You can be part of an exceptional, close-knit brotherhood of young men, one whose friendships extend decades beyond graduation day. At Brother Rice High School, you can be whatever you want to be. But whatever you choose to be exceptional.
Welcome back, Crusader fans. A couple of announcements here. Calling all 8th grade boys, it's officially your time to become a Crusader. In just a couple of weeks, December 7th, Saturday, 8 a.m., the test is here. I mean, the best decision I've ever made, Ryan.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it was between Brother Ice and Marist. And I think choosing Brother Ice was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I love the atmosphere here every day. I love my classes, my classmates, my teachers. If you want to become a Crusader, definitely today's the best day to do it. Like we've been talking about all day, back-to-back semifinals appearances. So if you're an athlete, you want to play football, it's never been a better time. Just really any sport, I feel like it's been very good so far. And Brother Ice last year into this year, and academically, we've just had so many great teachers, counselors, the administration staff. So definitely just all around Brother Ice, it's never been a better time to become a Crusader.
Couldn't have said it any better. I mean, that was just the camaraderie unlike anything else. The guys behind the scenes we have here, just like a family we've got going on, a home away from home. They open up so many new doors for you, athletically, academically, clubs. I mean, I would not have thought that I would be sitting in front of a microphone 3 years ago. It's never been a better time. Come be exceptional with us. And another announcement, Giving Tuesday. It's a day to give back to a charity. Brother Ice is participating in it. December 3rd, there will be more info. And a very generous donor is willing to match any donation that you have. I mean, that's just incredible. The alum that we have, the donors that we have, the networking's unlike any other.
Yeah, really. Giving Tuesday, definitely a special day. So I would definitely recommend participating in it if you can. And like you said, just a great donor to have.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us tonight. The Crusaders take on Warren at 4 p.m. tomorrow. If you can get out to Gurnee, please go ahead. I believe it's on NFHS if you want to pay a subscription to go there. Whichever it is, just go support your Crusaders. My producer, Jacob Wisgard, everyone that's helped, Danny Hartz, Gavin Flood, Tim Hayes on the green screen, Jack O'Connell on the camera, Jack DiMatteo, high school football expert. My partner, Ryan Schistel, I'm Connor Durkin. Thank you for tuning in. Go Crusaders.